As a kid, all a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from everybody. Life lesson learned, I better learn from this bitch, nobody. She pushed me around, she didn't give no motherfucks about it. She broke my heart 3 times, but I ain't getting...
So the last team that we have to preview from the AFC West are the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. I saved the best team for last. Now, I believe that the Kansas City Chiefs are the second best team in the AFC behind the Baltimore Ravens. And I know a lot of Chiefs fans are probably going to get a little bit upset with me about that. But I have some concerns when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. And it lies on the defense side of the football. Now, it's not the defensive line. The defensive line is still pretty good. You got Chris Jones, who recently just signed a big mega extension. You also got Frank Clark there. So I'm not worried about the defensive line. I'm not worried about the linebackers. But I am worried about the corners. The cornerbacks really concern me because you lost Kendall Fuller, who was pretty much your best cornerback last season. And you lose him, he's now playing for the Washington football team. And my question now is, who the heck are going to be the starting cornerbacks for Kansas City this year? I don't really know, and a lot of people pretty much might not know either. And it really concerns me because this is a passing league, and if you want to win games in the NFL, you got to be able to stop the pass. And at some point, your cornerbacks are going to have to be able to cover. And with Kansas City losing Kendall Fuller, who is going to be the next guy who steps up? Now, the safety position is really good. That is a really great positive. You got Juan Thornhill, who is pretty good as a rookie, and you got the Honey Badger there, who is coming off one of the best seasons of his career in 2019. So, I mean, Kansas City's defense is still pretty solid, but I still have concerns about the corners. I don't trust their cornerbacks. And the offense, on the other hand, is still amongst one of the best in the NFL, if not the best offense in the NFL. You can make a case and say that this offense is going to be better this season than what they were in 2019. You got Def galore at wide receiver. I mean, who you have at wide receiver? You got Demarcus Robinson. You got Sammy Watkins. You got Tyreek Hill, who is the best deep threat in the NFL. You got Miguel Hartman. You got Travis Kelce, who is a tight end, but you might as well consider him a wide receiver. So, I mean, you got weapons galore at the wide receiver position. Then you got Mr. $500 million man Patrick Mahomes there at quarterback. So, I mean, Kansas City probably should have the best offense once again in the NFL this year. Now, the offensive line is a little bit of a concern because the offensive line last year was good, but they did have a couple of rough patches there. But overall, this still should be one of the best offenses in the NFL. Now, the biggest story going into this season has been Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. All I've been reading about throughout training camp for Kansas City has been Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. I can't find anything else. I can't find articles about Miguel Hartman. I can't find articles about anything else that's going on around training camp. All I've been hearing around training camp every day is Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. Now, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is going to have a big role in this offense. Now, the reason why I felt like Clyde Edwards-Hilaire was a match made in heaven for Kansas City is because Kansas City is a team that doesn't really run the football all that often. I mean, they don't completely abandon the run, but they're more of a pass-heavy team. So when you're a pass-heavy team, you got to find a halfback that fits that system. And Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is a perfect fit for Kansas City because, one, he was pretty much the best pass catching halfback coming out of the 2020 NFL draft class, which makes him an absolute great fit. Now, also, Damon Williams isn't going to be playing this year because he is on the COVID-19, whatever list for the players who decided not to partake in this year's NFL season. So he's going to get all of the workload. He is going to be the full RB1 in Kansas City. So, I mean, I'm really excited about this Kansas City Chiefs offense. I mean, you got a lot of talent here. You got a lot of weapons. I'm really intrigued in Sammy Watkins because I feel like Sammy Watkins has kind of, not lived up to my level of expectation that I was expecting him to, kind of have when he was playing for Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes and having Andy Reid as his, head coach. I felt Sammy Watkins could have, been a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver with the Chiefs, but he kind of really hasn't lived up to that. Now, injuries has kind of took his toll on Sammy Watkins. You also got the emergence of Miguel Hartman, Demarcus Robinson as well. But I do think that Sammy Watkins needs to step up this year, and I feel like he does have the capability of taking over and being that good number 2 wide receiver in this Chiefs offense. So, I mean, I'm really expecting a little bit more out of Sammy Watkins. I don't think Sammy Watkins is bad, but all I'm saying is that I would like to see a little bit more out of Sammy Watkins' performance on the field, because I think that Sammy Watkins is way better than the level that he's been playing for the last couple of seasons. I think Sammy Watkins has all the talent to be a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver, like we saw glimpses when he was playing for the Buffalo Bills a couple of years back, for those of you guys who remember his stint in Buffalo. So, I mean, I would like to see Sammy Watkins step up a little bit more. And like I'm saying, he's not a bad wide receiver. I just think that he is a little bit more talented than what we've been seeing out of him the last couple of seasons. Now, Miguel Hartman, I think, is going to have a breakout year. Miguel Hartman was a stud last year. He didn't really get all that much playing time. He only had like a handful of receptions. I think he only had like 26, 28 receptions and about like 6 touchdowns. So, imagine what he's going to do if he gets more targets and he gets a little bit more involved in the offense this year. So, I mean, if you know Kansas City's offense was hard to stop last year, you're going to have an even tougher time trying to stop this offense this season. Now, like I said, when it comes to Kansas City, the thing that I feel is going to hold them back is going to be their cornerbacks. Their cornerbacks, I have a lot of concerns, a lot of questions about this season. And you're playing in a division that pretty much is really tough. I mean, you're playing in a division that pretty much every team has improved on defense. Denver is getting back Chubb. Then you also got to worry about Von Miller. So you got to worry about Bradley Chubb. And you also got to worry about Von Miller, who is two of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Then you got to worry about the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers have one of the more talented secondaries in the NFL with Derwin James, Nazir Adderley, Desmond King, Chris Harris Jr. I mean, they got a lot of talent there on that defense. So if you're Kansas City, man, this AFC West division is going to be a cakewalk like how it has been the last 4 seasons. This is going to be the toughest that the AFC West has been the last couple of seasons. So if you're Kansas City, you're still a really good team. You still pretty much have the same players that you had from your Super Bowl contending team. But I mean, you still have a major gap at that cornerback position. Now, a positive is that you're going to have, a lot of help over the top with Juan Thornhill and the Honey Badger. So that's going to be a positive. So having those 2 guys there should help out the cornerbacks a lot. Then the fact that you're pretty good up front. So if you have a pretty good defensive line, you're able to get pressure on the quarterback. That limits the amount of time that the cornerbacks are going to have to sit back and drop back in coverage. But I do have a lot of concerns about the cornerback position. But aside from that, I still feel like the Kansas City Chiefs are one of the favorites to go back to the Super Bowl. And can the Kansas City Chiefs repeat as Super Bowl champions? I think they have a pretty good chance to do that. But I do think the Ravens are going to be the team that Kansas City is going to have to go through if they want to make it to the Super Bowl once again and repeat as Super Bowl champions. And also, you got to go through the gauntlet that is the AFC West. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, JT, you're overrating a lot of these teams, man. The LA Chargers have Tyrod Taylor, and the Denver Broncos are unproven, and the Raiders are the Raiders. Look, you guys got to stop thinking that teams are going to be bad just because they have been bad for the last couple of seasons. Like, the Denver Broncos, when they had Drew Lock, were really good. Drew Lock is finally the franchise quarterback that the Denver Broncos have been searching for ever since Peyton Manning retired. And they also have a really good defense. Then you also got the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders were really good on offense. The fact is just that they couldn't get stops on defense. So hopefully their defense takes a little bit of a step forward. Then you got the Chargers. I know a lot of people like to hate on Tyrod Taylor, but Tyrod Taylor's a good enough quarterback to get the Chargers to the playoffs. So, I mean, if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, this division is going to be the toughest that it has ever been the last couple of seasons. So, I mean, I still think that Kansas City is going to be one of the best teams in the AFC, but I do think that they could have a little bit of a problem with this AFC West division, because I think that this AFC West division is the toughest division in the NFL. Like I said earlier, you can make a case for every single team in this division to make it to the playoffs. So, I mean, I'm really excited to watch the Kansas City Chiefs play this season. You guys let me know how you guys feel about Kansas City and their cornerbacks, because listen, I don't really trust their cornerbacks. I'm really concerned about their cornerbacks, and with this being a passing league, if you can't, stop these talented group of wide receivers in the NFL, your defense is going to struggle at times, despite the fact that they're really good in the back end of the secondary and they're really good up front, but the cornerback position really concerns me.